Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Whitney. Today I'm going to be showing you 2 full days of eating. And first I'm starting off with my collagen matcha latte. I'm using the Perfect Keto matcha MCT oil powder with my collagen, and that is just supposed to be good for hair, skin, and nails. So that's what I'm having on that day. And I'm just mixing it with my frother to make it nice and foamy, as you can see. Okay. And for lunch that day, I decided to have an avocado turkey club. So here I'm just making the sandwich with just some mashed avocado that I mixed up. And then I just put some mayonnaise on the other half of the cauliflower thin. And I added some bacon, some turkey, and I think that's actually all that I put on there that day. But for the bread, so-called bread, it is the Outer Aisle cauliflower thins that I got from Whole Foods. I think you can actually buy them online as well. But they have like really clean ingredients, so that's why I like to use them. They only have 1 gram of carbs per thin, and I use 2, so that's only 2 carbs in it. But that's what I had for lunch that day, and I also had it with a side of the Grillo's pickles. Okay, and for dinner that night, I decided to make steak fajitas. Here I just used a New York strip steak because that's what I had in my freezer. So I just thawed it out and I grilled it up in my grill pan to about medium. So since this one was a grass-fed steak, again, it's leaner, so you usually have to take it off a few degrees before you want it to be. So I took it off at about, I guess, 128 degrees or so for medium. So here you can just see that I'm grilling it up. It has some beautiful grill marks on there to say that I did it inside. But so I just grilled up my steak, and then I ended up grilling up the fajita vegetables on the pan as well. And there you could see that I was taking the temperature of it and making sure that the fat was getting cooked as well, because you don't want the fat to be kind of like stringy, I guess, on there and tough. So that's why I always make sure that I grill this side of a New York strip as well. Okay, so here I'm just adding some butter to the top of my steak and then tinning it with some foil so it stays warm while it's resting. I added some more oil to the pan and added my onions and bell peppers. Those I actually just seasoned with, I got it from Whole Foods. It's like a Mexican fiesta seasoning. It has like cumin and chili powder and stuff in there. So that's what I used on those. And then once they were done, I just took them out of the pan and put them on my plate. All right. And here I'm just cutting up the steak, and you can see how done I have it. You can always cook your steak to however you like it, but I still like it with a little bit of pink so it's not tough. Oh, and the steak, I also added some of that Mexican fiesta seasoning as well to it, so it would have the same flavor. Okay, and here I just added some cheese. Probably should have added more cheese, but oh well. So I added, that's probably like 1/4 ounce of cheese with some guacamole that I made. And then I also put some sour cream on there as well. And that is my super simple steak fajitas that I made there for dinner. And after dinner, I decided to have some dark chocolate. This is the Chalk Zero 50% cocoa. And I just had 2 squares of that, which was 80 calories. And they actually make it without sugar, and it doesn't have any of those weird sweeteners that make your stomach hurt. So here I'm showing you my macros for the day. I had 10 net carbs, 88 grams of fat, 93 grams of protein, and 1,241 calories. So I was a little bit under calories, but that's okay because some days I go over by a little bit. But that's my macros for the day. And after dinner, I usually just I start fasting, my intermittent fasting. So I had my tea here. I just had a little bit of chamomile, and then I stirred in a little bit of my monk fruit sweetener just to end off the day, which is also 0 calories, by the way. So I just started my fast that I fasted for about 16 to 18 hours. This is the next day. I am having some coffee with vanilla syrup in it, half and half, collagen, and I also add cinnamon to my coffee as well. It's supposed to be good for your blood sugar, plus it tastes good. So I'm fine with that. Okay, and this was actually after I worked out, but I also add a pinch of salt to my coffee. It takes away the bitterness from it that you sometimes get. And don't forget to drink your water, guys. That's why I put my water in there. And so I'm just having some coffee and I froth it up. And on this particular day, I decided to have a Quest bar with my coffee. Okay, for lunch, I am using some of that leftover steak to make a burrito. So what I put in this burrito is some bell peppers and onions that I'm just gonna fry up real quick. And I season it with some garlic powder, Mexican Fiesta seasoning, salt and pepper also. And then I just sort of saute it until it's cooked to where it's supposed to be, I guess. And then I warmed up the bacon and steak in there as well. I added a little bit of bacon to it. So I just warm it up in the pan together. And that is going to be my filling for my burrito. Oh, and also I did add some cheese to this. So that's maybe about like half an ounce of cheese that I add to the pan after I turn the heat off, so it melts a little bit. Okay, and here I'm using a cut to carb flatbread. So those are 9 grams of carbs per flatbread, but I only used half of a sheet here. So I just roll it up nicely and then I decided to fry it. So in my pan, I added some butter. I probably should have used a different oil, but it worked just fine. Because, different oils don't burn as fast as butter. But I just, I fried it up until it was brown on all sides like I wanted it. And so I flipped that side too fast. I realized that, but don't be me. Flip it over once it actually gets brown. So it just takes a few minutes. Doesn't take very long, maybe about like 2 minutes or so. Okay, and so I just browned it on all the sides so that you kind of get like a chimichanga type thing going on. Keto Tex-Mex. That was just me moving around the oil in the pan to make sure it gets fried all over. And then I added it to my plate and I served it with some queso. I just spooned on top of it. And I also used some sour cream, a little bit more of the leftover guacamole, and I added some Valentina on it also. So this is just, proof that you can always make your leftovers into something new. So I like doing that just so it doesn't feel like you're eating the same thing over and over again. So this was leftover makeover number 1 of the day. And it was so good, so I plan on making that again. The cut the carb flatbreads are a godsend. I definitely recommend those. Okay, and for dinner I had some leftover short ribs that I had made the other day, and I added some frozen broccoli to it because I was just gonna make a sort of beef and broccoli dish. So I just added the short ribs and the broccoli, and I added maybe like a tablespoon of water to steam the broccoli some, and I just let it cook until the broccoli was done. I added some red pepper flakes, and I think I added like a teaspoon or so of soy sauce to it. And that was my very simple leftover makeover that I did. And I added some sesame oil and sesame seeds. And I actually ended up adding a little bit of kimchi as well for some extra flavor, because why not? And after dinner, I had a piece of the Chalk Zero peppermint bark. Yes, I know it is the middle of the summer, but I don't care. So I had some peppermint bark. Okay, and here I have my macros for the day. I had 15 grams of net carbs, and my calories were at 1,364. And that is it for the day. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to watch more of my videos. Have a great day. Bye.